Upcycle Ohio Thrift Store is a secondary iteration of what Reuse's mission was. I think a lot of community folks were like, well, what about all those resources that were there and like those things that we needed, which are the thrift store, the makerspace, the tool library. And I think that segues really well into how we're different from other thrift stores too, which is that community partnership that happens, as well as like our connection to the makerspace. So there's a lot of items that in other thrift stores might end up right in a dumpster, but because we have access to all of these tools and materials and folks who are interested in reviving items and giving them like a second chance in the world, a lot of upcycling happens in the space. So we started out with our textile recycling through the neighborhood, which is a partnership that we have with some folks in Kentucky, and they do a lot of materials management similar to what we have, but they have a larger scale for some of these things like textiles and medical recycling and things like that.
The makerspace is really important to this community for many reasons. The first thing that comes to my mind is that it is a unique asset. There's one makerspace user I can think of. He is retired and has been able to turn his passions into a business through this space, through our Appalachian Woodcraft Scholarship. He was able to, take a few business classes and talk to local businesses to not only craft these wood products here, but take those out into the community.
So behind me in this 40-foot shipping container is medical supplies and equipment that we have found nearly everybody has sitting in their homes and their businesses. And what the Zero Waste program is doing is to figure out how we can develop systems to collect, aggregate, and then redistribute these things. And also, we're working with an outfit called MedWish International in Cleveland to distribute these things as well.
We are trying to work with some local organizations like the VFW in the Plains and some others to try and recycle things back into this community. In fact, we've just gotten a call from a local doctor here who was recently retired, but her mother passed away just about 3 months ago. And she had some really wonderful equipment for her mother that was practically new. And one of the items was a lift chair. And I figured that the VFW, we take it for granted that veterans have all these benefits, but that isn't necessarily true. And a lot of times they can only get certain pieces of equipment or help, and then there's not enough resources for them to get something else. So they were very excited, and we're going to be delivering that to them. We'll pick it up from the doctor and deliver it at the end of this week.
Yeah, my name is Mark Brunton. I am the owner of Baroque Getaways, along with my wife Emma Brunton. Today we're at the Float Shack, which is an offshoot of Baroque Getaways. We own and operate several rental cabins here at Baroque Lake. We do kayak tours, pontoon tours. Rural Action has been fantastic for us. There's been some educational components where I've leaned on Rural Action to learn about native plants and things like that, especially Joe Brim has taught me a lot in that aspect. When COVID hit, it really put a damper on our business to start. We lost basically everything. All of our cabin business, we had to refund all of our customers, and we didn't know what we were going to do. And because the way our business is structured, we weren't really able to take advantage of any of the other opportunities or grants and things like that are through the federal government and the state. Rural Action had a resilience grant, and we applied, and thankfully they saw the value in what we're doing, and that money helped us stay afloat. We started partnering with the internship program, so Project Rise and Rural Action. And we took on one intern last year, then it became two. I said, we can definitely put more people to work and learn from this experience, and then three. So we had 3 interns last year. It went so well, and we're we were proud of what the students were giving us, and I think what we were giving back to the students. Actually, 2 of them ended up staying on after the internship, and they worked with us. And our spring intern came in, Brinley, and she was great. She actually helped us kind of rebuild this. We consider her one of the founding members of the Float Shack. And because this is a local program, you know, I get to see their parents and get updates about, you know, what they had learned and what they're doing now and how they've applied it in their life.
I learned about the internship through Amity. I am part of the ambassador program, and I discussed my concern about having money after I graduate, and she brought up that I can get an internship that helps me become work ready. Just being able to work here by the water and seeing how pretty it is out, that's my favorite part about working here. I think I am getting many skills from it, mostly people skills. I think I talk better with people. I'm less nervous when it comes to strangers. I think this internship really does help me. It just helps me realize the beauty of the area and all the things that you can get from it. I mean, Mark even made hot sauce out of just wild ramps, just from these hills over here.
I'm from Perry County, and I've traveled all over the United States working for other publications and doing fun things like outdoors writing and things like that. I always took this area for granted. I grew up as one of the same people that have an attitude like, there's just not much here for me and I need to go and see what else is out there. Well, I took it for granted, and when I came back, it's like, whoa, this place is actually really awesome. Okay, we can take these natural assets that we have, and other people, as we've proved over the last few years, like, want to come here, they want to experience what we have, and we can make this experience-based economy. So really it's just about growing that at this point. You know, this little operation behind me is an example of that.
Do a whole range of programs out of my office. When I started with Rural Action about 9 to 10 years ago, the focus was solely on watershed restoration. So we work with partner organizations if they want to make events zero waste. We have our own zero waste tub of equipment and dishware that we loan out to people. We also have a core piece of work on environmental education. So every year we do field trips with a couple hundred kids working with partner school districts, and we have a watershed focused summer camp. And I think that it makes a lot of sense to expand now because our communities are facing so many similar threats as the communities that we've historically worked with in southeastern Ohio. Tuscarawas County is Appalachian. We have the same history of resource extraction. We have the same history of wealth being generated here and then leaving here. So right now we have an opportunity. When you look at all of our small communities, they are really saying, how do we build up resiliency? How do we make sure and conserve our resources for the future so that they are here for our kids and our grandkids, and they may even be better than they were when we found them. When we had our work day here in Newcomerstown, it was like a really big hands-on project. We needed 8 to 12 people to come and physically tear down a fence that was separating a park where people are going to recreate with the river. We had about a dozen AmeriCorps members come up from our southern offices, and one of the ones that came up actually ended up being from Newcomerstown. So she came back up here, and the mayor, who we've been partnering with on this project all along, was her elementary school teacher.
Where we are standing now is right next to our new boat ramp. This was all wooded thicket. There was a huge culvert behind you that was 8 feet deep that poured in the river, and that was actually your only access to the river. There weren't stones and thicket and trying to get through all that stuff to get there. The river has always been part of the community, and in most cases when it was settled, it was because it was close to the river. This is going to be something special. We're very excited. We can hardly wait for the community to come down here. Right now we have a loop of about a half a mile that people can walk around. The JVS made benches for us. We had volunteers that came down that took down the fence, so we have a beautiful river walk. Rural Action was recommended to us by different agencies in the county when we were looking for people to help us, for opportunities for grants and funding. And so they got me in touch with Marissa. We brought Marissa down here. She saw what we saw was a possibility down here. So when you make other people excited, more things happen, more good things. I think as any mayor, you want to leave it better than when you got there. And I think that's the ultimate goal. You want to be able to make a difference. And with Newcomers Town, we feel we are making a difference. But it takes help. You can't do it by yourself. You have to ask for help. People come here, they're going to see something that they haven't seen before. And that's what you want. You want them to remember Newcomers Town.